and today we have a reading for you about somebody who is going on a trip. It could be backpacking, which is kind of suggested by this picture, but it involves the mountains. Now, I have to say that when I start by pulling cards from the True Crime Oracle, it may end up that that general reading is applicable or resonates for fewer people, or there may be a smaller portion of the message that resonates for you. But I do feel like we have a partnership or like a couple, two people who are traveling to or within the mountains, right? It could be more like, oh, you're finding a spooky hiking trail. But there is an issue that happens on this trip. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box for you, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. All right, let's dive in with the Marigold Tarot. What else do we have? Seven of Swords, the Star in the reverse, and the Ace of Cups in the reverse. All right, so this is looking to me like we have an accident that happens or someone who gets lost while they're in some sort of like an outdoor journey with a partner of theirs. This is somebody where there is resentment growing between the two of them, maybe a little bit more so on one person's side than the other. But the Star in the reverse tells me that we have somebody who maybe doesn't have a compass and gets lost while they're hiking or is sent down the wrong path. With the Seven of Swords, I do feel like we have someone who is trying to make this happen or trying to make it difficult for their partner. Eight of Rings or Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, the Lovers in the reverse. Yeah, this is a couple where the love is questionable. I feel like there's like a couple movies that have recently come out with this kind of theme. We're going to go on a hiking trip or we're going to, go camping, and there's foul play in someone's mind. Lovers in the reverse indicating this is someone I don't want to be with anymore. Empress in the reverse, emotional manipulation. Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. This feels to me like not doing something to help someone when they're in trouble. And the Hierophant in the reverse, because a divorce would be maybe too much trouble. You could have a concern over finances. We have the Hanged Man in the reverse and the Nine of Cups. Life would be so much easier if I just didn't have to deal with you anymore. So instead of working on what they need to work on, they're blaming their partner or looking for an easy way out. Looking at nature as somebody who could do the job for them or like make it easier. Sorry to be so morbid, but this is someone who feels like my life is going to be easier if something happens to my partner. Hello, how's it going? Is it Shay? What should I call you? Can I call you Vlogs? Hello, Evie, how are you doing? No, I'm not. Hello, I'm sorry that you feel that way. You're welcome to come back if you would like to be more tolerant of other people's views and beliefs. Hello, Dr. Muda. How are you doing? We have the Seven of Cups in the reverse and Strength in the reverse. The problem is, I do think that there is some misconception that, I could do this or I could like not help my partner if they get into trouble and it wouldn't look like it was me. But they don't realize life is not a TV show. They've already been talking about not wanting to be in this relationship. They've already been talking about how, frustrated they are. So it's like as soon as something were to happen, there would be at least a few questions, right? Or maybe even accusations. Hello, Huge. My name is Carmen. Please don't call me Aunt. Hello, Vortex. Hey, Seth. Please don't use all caps. It's before, well, it's just after 9 a.m. I feel like it's too early for that. Hello, Matt. How are you doing? That's all right, Matt. It may not be for you. So we've got the 7 of Rings or 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. A person who feels like, I don't want to give up more. I would rather keep everything for myself. So they're willing to go out of their way to achieve that and probably sidestep some of those morals they claim to have. This is the Gold Foil Tarot. Hello, Rosario. How are you doing? This is my work scramble. Why aren't you at work? Or are you at work and not working? Yes, Vortex. This is a general reading. Oh, I don't think it's my decision. This is called a tarot reading, George. Hello, Ginger. How are you doing? I am not Emma Stone. Sorry to disappoint. Hello, Archangel. How are you doing? Hello, Risha. Hello, Booty. Am I saying it right? Hello, Mo. What's going on? You might be new here, but that's what they do every day. Apparently have a pretty unique shuffling tactic or approach, but that's how I feel the messages are supposed to come through for me. So we have the Page of Swords, the Page of Cups in the reverse, and the King of Swords. This is someone who is hopeful that they can control the story, that if they're the only one who was around, in other words, if this is an isolated part of the world, or, you know, it's only them on this camping trip, then they can make sure that the story goes the way they want it to, right? Hello, Delilah. How are you doing? Hello, Serge. What's up? Hello, Catherine. If you just want a personal question, I do those at about 30 or 35 minutes in, with priority to those who tip or donate using the super chat feature, or you can donate memberships. If you want a long form personal reading where other people aren't going to be listening in, you can email me at wickedonestarot@gmail.com, and that starts at $40 USD. Hello, Francis. How are you doing? Welcome, Delilah. Hey, Peggy. How you doing today? So we've got the Sun and the 10 of Pentacles. Ooh, and the Hierophant in the reverse. I'm telling you, this is somebody who wants like a quick divorce. One where the other person gets nothing. So, I mean, we could also be talking about somebody who's looking for a life insurance policy. But whatever their plans are, this illusion they're trying to keep up, or this, oh, I'm so sad that something happened, it fails because there's too many people who know what this person really thought of their spouse. 8 of Wands in the reverse. A failure to act. This is like, it's a little bit of a dance because I try to make sure that I don't use any of the words that YouTube would like get uppity about. But I do feel like this is somebody who goes on a nature walk or goes camping. There's a situation like falling into, you know, rapids or something like that, or falling off a cliff. And there's something that this partner could do to help. Like, hey, why didn't you try to climb down there and see if you could help that person? Or, hey, why didn't you go into the water to try to help the person if they were looking like they weren't doing so well with the swimming part, right? There's this you stand around and do nothing that they felt like they could kind of talk their way through or justify, but they stumble through this or they make excuses that don't make sense, and it gets somebody a little bit curious as to you know, why. It'd be like not calling 911 if somebody is choking on their cheeseburger. Oh, I hope you have a lovely day, Peggy. Always good to see you. Hello, Sakari. How are you doing? Hello, why? Honestly, one of the best days of my life was when I stopped using Facebook. I say that because it helped me to see the other things I needed to cut out of my life. Once I did that, it was like a snowball effect, right? More things I could identify as kind of like a waste of my time. Hey, John. Actually, I don't. I'm pretty sure that you're encouraged to judge not, yet you be judged. So I would encourage you to take a more positive, loving approach to your beliefs, and you may be surprised at what you're able to achieve versus trying to tell people that they're doing things wrong, right? What's that saying? Something about honey versus vinegar? Yeah. But I would encourage you to love people around you instead of judge them. Or at least be kind, right? We have the Fool in the reverse and the Five of Pentacles. Someone who may be claiming that weather was a problem, someone who may be claiming that they lost something that was important, like a compass or a first aid kit. But the Fool in the reverse is telling me that whoever is asking these questions or hearing this story is looking at this King of Swords as someone who's probably lying because of just like the complicated way they feel they need to describe the inability to help someone they claim to love, and the contrast between what they say they felt for their partner and what other people may have heard beforehand. This is making me feel like we've got family members on both sides that had seen evidence that this marriage was collapsing or that they were probably headed towards divorce. And that's not as easy for them to explain away, right? Hello, Hannah. How are you doing? Hello, Kashara. I do personal questions at about 30 or 35 minutes, okay, Kushara? But I do prioritize those that tip or donate. We have settling, accepting less than you deserve, and forever and ever. I think there's a decent amount of the social community around these two that knew that one person was not treating their partner very well, or knew that these two were not happy with each other. Refusing to accept the reality of this connection. We had probably the person who, not the manipulative one, but the one who may have been hurt. We have somebody who is refusing to accept, maybe I'm dealing with somebody that I can't trust. Maybe I'm dealing with somebody who is extremely deceptive. Playing games just to keep your attention. So towards, like right before this happens, right before this travel happens, I feel like there's this like almost honeymoon period where I'm going to love bomb or make you feel like everything is different, everything is fine, lulling you into a false sense of security. This is the Egyptian tarot. Hello, Levon. How are you doing? Hello, Amit. Hello, Mersha. What's up? Thank you for the makeup brush, Cosmic Vision. We have the Two of Swords in the reverse, Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Four of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, I mean, this is someone who has to explain why they disregarded what everybody else would have done in that situation. If somebody is, you know, in the next booth over starting to choke on their dinner, you may not even know them, but you might feel like if you know the Heimlich maneuver, you should probably get up and help them. There's something here about no reaction. Like you see somebody is struggling, or you see that somebody is, you know, tripped or fallen or gotten hurt, and you did nothing, or like you walked away, or you didn't try to problem solve. It just kind of betrays that there is something here that isn't right. So we have somebody who decides to investigate. I know everyone thinks this looks like an accident, or I know it's meant to appear to be an accident, but something is not right. So I'm going to look into this further and figure out if this person had bad intentions when they took this trip with their partner. Ten of Wands. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. And I think this investigator, the Hermit, is indeed able to identify some reasons that may have pushed the King of Swords to do this, such as like, oh, well, this King of Swords just signed up for an insurance policy, you know, 2 months ago. Or, oh, you know, apparently they tried to talk to a divorce lawyer and then changed their mind 3 weeks ago. There's evidence here that there was a shift or a change in someone's plans, in addition to the refusal to act in the moment when an emergency was happening. Hello, Short Stack. How are you doing? Yeah, it's a little creepy. Definitely gonna have to sage after this one. We have the Knight of Wands in the reverse and the Queen of Cups also in the reverse. I think there's something that happened to somebody's leg. I think there's an accident, like tripping, falling, twisting your ankle, and somebody just kind of sitting there like, oh gosh, that must suck. That must be awful for you. Look at the time. I think I'm gonna go boil some water. Hello, Alex. Yes, I took 5 years of piano lessons, and I think it was 3 years of flute. We've got the Hanged Man again and the Ace of Swords in the reverse. Somebody is lying. This King of Swords is lying about what actually happened in the moments leading up to and after whatever this accident is, because it's feeling like an unnecessary, oh, I guess that's just how it is, or, you know, I don't have any power over the situation. I do feel like there could be somebody who took efforts to hide a first aid kit, or make it seem like they were incapable of doing something. You know, oh, I lost the walkie-talkie, or oh, I lost the compass, and then it's found later, had been like tossed out into the woods or even like buried by the fire pit. There's an investigation here that makes it clear that this wasn't just like you freaked out because you were in shock and you didn't know how to help somebody. This was intentional. You didn't want to help that person. And now we can paint a picture and make it pretty clear that you were actually looking for a way out of this marriage. So now we can't take anything that you say as truth. Now we have to actually figure out what happened on our own, you know? All right. Let's get a few from the Kipper deck, as we do have an imprisonment card in here, or adjudication. There's also a courthouse card. So I do feel like this is somebody who could end up getting charged for this. Community and false person in the reverse. Yeah, I think there are multiple people who are speaking up as to like the true nature of the marriage, the fact that there was somebody who was looking for a way out. And the Hermit can see that somebody is acting. Like, I have to make sure that I win over the audience, or I have to make sure that, you know, if I'm going on national television, that I have the right kind of tears or facial expressions to get people to believe me. Privileged lady, number 12, and sudden wealth. Now, this doesn't have to mean that we have a husband that died and a wife who is looking suspicious just because we have privileged lady. But this is the card that indicates somebody who might be doing something because of money. I can't afford to divorce you because then I would have to change my lifestyle. I don't want you to be able to request child support after the divorce. Or even if you were to pass away in an accident, then maybe I would get an insurance payout. There's someone who was very calculated in their approach, who felt like they would be able to improve their financial situation if they chose not to help somebody they're married to who's in stress or distress. And this is all because of like a hiking or camping trip. Let's go out here into the woods. Let's find a really great place to hang out, nobody else around, and then, you know, I'll be able to get away, but you won't. So we have courtship and toil and labor. Oh, is there another person here? What if this person was also dating another person? I feel like there's evidence of a flirtation, a third party, an affair partner perhaps. There's a gift here, maybe to a coworker, that suggests there was another relationship happening. Whether it was the person who is, you know, not helped in a stressful accident situation. I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I don't feel like this person survives. Which is why I clarified this is probably not a reading for everyone. This might be more of like, it starts dominating the news in a couple weeks. But we have somebody that was either involved in an affair and that's why they wanted to find an illegal way out of their marriage, or we have somebody who found out that their partner was cheating and that's why this happened. Hello, Lucas, how are you doing? That is a horrible question, and I'm going to encourage you to find some compassion for others before you come back. Hello, Samuel. I already answered you, Alex. Hello, Doreen. Hello, Ruhio. What's going on? All right, so this is the Poe Tarot. What else do we have, please? It's going well. How about you? Hey, Ball. How old do you think I am? Should we start with that one? 9 of Candles or 9 of Wands. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. I feel like this is somebody who is trying to identify the smartest way to get out of a difficult marriage, but especially because we have this like golden sand, it's like I'm thinking about finances. I don't want to give up my living situation. I don't want to get a cheaper car, or, you know, I don't want to pay my own bills even. Again, there also seems to be some third-party situation as well. 9 of Paws or the 9 of Pentacles. Man's real life is happy, chiefly because he is ever expecting that it soon will be so. In anticipation of this event, we have someone feeling like as soon as this person's out of my life, everything's going to be easier. I'll be on my own, I'll have more money, I don't have to deal with this person bickering. It's very selfish and not okay perspective. Like, they could just break up with someone, right? I intend to put up with nothing that I can put down. Maybe this person was called out on the trip. I know what you're up to. But we definitely have an argument or resentment that has built up over a period of time for these two and resulted in concerning event. Someone who probably passed away. You are not correct, but thank you for trying, Ball. Hello, Sunlight. How are you doing? So we have the wife and hope. Yeah. So you can read this as the wife ends up getting injured, even though they were hopeful that there was a way to resolve the problems within the marriage. Or we have someone, a wife who's thinking, if somebody gets hurt, then I get what I want. Soldier in the reverse and foe. So because someone did not take quick action to help in a bad situation, it's becoming clear to the investigator, this hermit individual, that this might have been intentional, that this might have been the goal or like the not so great plan for a long time. Hey, Mido, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you to be tolerant of other people's religions in the live chat, which I guess was me trying to say chill out. Ball control, I'm going to put you in a baby timeout, 5 minutes, just to remind you that it doesn't matter what my age is, and if you haven't been taught this yet, it's rude to ask people that, so I wouldn't start with that. Hello, Dean. How are you doing? That's funny. Yes, I am. I wouldn't say it's the yearly budget, it's just probably the more expensive element. Especially because there's some super generous folks, Peggy included, that have donated tarot decks, which is probably, like, I don't even want to think about how much these all are. I think I'm over 90 decks now, which is kind of crazy. I might need to eventually get like a desk area where it's just like shelves, just all surrounded. Like, what's that closet with all the movies? Priest and constancy. So there is a family member or a friend. It doesn't have to be that they're actually a priest, but this is somebody who has insights into what this relationship was really like, and when somebody's trying to claim that the relationship was really happy and oh my gosh, I really loved this person and I'm crying so much because I can't believe that they aren't here anymore, this priest individual is like, actually no, they're just like putting on airs, they're just pretending that they're upset, but really they're super eager for everybody to get over this so that they could just like collect their insurance money or like have all of this money, right? Actually, Lisa, it's because somebody asked me my age after I told them it wasn't important. And it's a 5-minute timeout. I think we're gonna be okay. But thank you for your concern. Hello, Anj, how you doing? Or is it Ange? Sorry. And then we have Lord. Yeah, this is... I feel like this is someone who's trying to make sure everybody views them as like the perfect spouse and everything was great. But they can't successfully lie about this because there are too many people who maybe heard what was really going on from both or at least one of those people, right? All right. This is A Gamer's Ways. Level up. I'm gonna need a little bit more candlelight. You've reached a level in the game where you're in a position to really assist other players. You've put a lot of time into optimizing your build, and others may be looking to you for guidance. I think this is about the Hermit. I think we have like maybe like more people looking at this case than would normally be doing all of that work. Maybe the Hermit is training someone to take an idea and make it reality. There is a special magic in bringing life to our creations. Pure passion only benefits when we act on it, and you are taking the initiative to get this off the ground. It could be we have somebody who's not used to investigating disappearances or folks who pass away. Sorry, trying to avoid certain words. But I do feel like we have a very smart individual who's realizing there's a pattern with this King of Swords, and that pattern is you can't be trusted. We have the Baird or the Bard. I still don't know how you're supposed to say it. The Bard is not a taker. They prefer to give. They are able to tap into some unique kind of magic that lifts the spirits of those around them. Having a Bard in your party is good for morale. Stealth mission. Maybe we're on a stakeout? Someone here is operating in the shadows. We can't always assume someone is being sneaky for nefarious reasons. They might be planning a surprise party or an ambush. Stay frosty. So it could be that the investigation or the investigators feel like they need to be a little bit cautious about indicating their interest or their belief that this King of Swords may have been up to something illegal, right? Because if you tip this person off, maybe they'll start to delete things or try to cover up evidence that's important. A good conversation is the result of good judgment. Being able to hold attention for both emotion and context leads to more positive outcomes for all involved. If you're facing a decision, you likely already know the best answer. The thing is, this King of Swords gets to a point where they start to realize they may have been caught or that they may be like the main suspect. And they have this opportunity to make things easier on themselves by telling the truth, and instead they dig in their heels. So they may end up getting a more difficult outcome or consequence than they expected, or than they could have gotten if they had just been honest. Hello, meme. How you doing? Hello, May Marie. Yeah, wild, isn't it? So we have the pumpkin patch. You will only taste the sour if you don't seek for the sweet. Share your fruits wisely, lest you sow regrets too deep. When we hear about these situations happening, it is a reminder that we need to be cautious about who we allow into our inner circle and who we consider to be trustworthy. Am I telling you you should never hike with people or go camping with people or never get married? No, but you do need to use your discernment and your intuition. This could have been somebody who was refusing to see the reality of how their partner was treating them or the signs that there was a need to walk away. We just have to be willing to pick up on those signs and pay close attention. The monster they feared, now I've become, still seeking for revenge for my cold heart of stone. This might have been a really happy relationship at the outset. They may have been seen as very enviable or like the perfect couple. And now there's a pretty clear storyline of like contradictions, right? They maybe made it seem like everything was happy, but at home it was anything but. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes, and I will see you on the next reading. Toodles.